go to the Apple Cup. I mean, but this is not a Pac-12 matchup. There's one Pac-12 team in this football game. Washington State goes to Seattle to play the Washington Huskies. Brand new coach over there in Washington, Jed Fish. They looked pretty good last week against Eastern Michigan, despite maybe a tiny tad bit of a slow start. Will Rogers was putting the football, he was pushing it downfield. Will Rogers looked really good, and I was concerned about his fit in this offense because we've only seen him do well in a Mike Leach offense. He looked really good. My concerns are starting to dwindle away about his ability to play quarterback in other systems. Washington State has looked very, very frisky. And look, this line is only at 4.5. And Washington's at home. So we power rating these teams? Are these
Been a point and a half.
power rated equally?
That's
Almost?
what was crazy. First of all, like who saw that coming? Obviously, Washington, everyone expected them to take a step back from last year, but Washington State kind of written off in the Pac-2 there, and uh,
Jake Dicker.
Jake Dicker, man, what love that. I love that for them and that fan base. Obviously, I mean, they've been through a lot this year, and they deserve that. They were awesome last year in some of those home games, and they showed up. John, is it so? It's Mateer or Metier?
Tier, yeah.
Mateer. I mean, he's a frisky quarterback, man. He is really, really frisky. Obviously, didn't do much through the air last week against Texas, but didn't need to. When you're rushing for almost 200 yards on the ground yourself, that is big time. I took Texas Tech in that game, and I took them. That was one of my best bets. I was like, you're a road dog against Washington State, and give me Texas Tech and Josh Kelly revenge game. And Kelly played well, but damn it, man. They just, like turnovers, it was not there for Texas Tech. Obviously,
It's
fourth
technically
down,
like
you were 1 for 5,
here's
but
what I'll say. It's technically not. It's in Seattle, but it's at Lumen Field. It's not at Husky Stadium. So I don't know how you deal with that power ratings wise, right? Because it's in Seattle, but it's not at Husky Fields. It's at the Lumen Fields where the Seahawks play. I just I don't know how you power rate that, right? Like I guess it's because it's not
maybe
Husky
a
Stadium.
point.
Yeah, it's like obviously I think it favors the Washington Huskies, but how much though is the question. So
That's
I don't
kind of
know.
interesting, though.
It is kind of interesting. But and with that being said, I think we're gonna take the frisky Jake Dickerts to win and cover in this game. Because we know how much I mean last year, heartbreak for Washington State. When they had a chance to absolutely send the Huskies into the shadow realm. Washington drives down the field and kicks a field goal to win the game.
Yeah.
And that was a Cam Ward led team. I think this team is a little bit better. I think they return a lot. Um, I I like Mateer. I think he's risky. I think Washington just is replacing so much right now. So much. I'm still concerned about Washington's ability. One to play defense, but two to play like I just don't know. I have so many question marks about that team. And to me, the eyeball test tells me that Washington State has looked really good. So I'm going to ride with Washington State in this. We'll call it a neutral site game, I guess. But basically, it's in Seattle. You know, I don't know.
An
I don't know
alternate
how that
home
works.
field advantage. Yeah. Listen, I'm gonna fade you here. I'm gonna go Washington and Washington to win and cover. I just that Washington State game, the Texas Tech Washington State game last week was weird because you had a couple like 4 turnovers for Texas Tech in that first half, and so obviously that amounted, you know, to some problems. Obviously, it led to what 3 touchdowns for Washington State. 21 points there. Obviously, broke the game open. And I trust Jed Fish. I trust Will Rogers more specifically to be able to keep the ball out of harm's way. And especially if you can run the ball, like they have with Jonah Coleman, excuse me, that is going to be a huge advantage, especially in this rivalry type game. I think Hunter, Jackson, Boston, those are all really talented receivers there for Washington this year. It's going to be awesome, though. Regardless, I think it'll be a close game. I hope it's a close game selfishly. If anyone has to win, damn it, I think it'll be Washington, but selfishly, I'm kind of rooting for Washington State just because of what's happened to them this year.
Yeah,
And we love Jake Dicker on the show. We do.
we do. We do. I think look, Washington's offensive line, I think, is a question that hasn't been tested yet. And so far, I've liked what I've seen from the Washington State Edge group. I have. So very interested to see that matchup as well. Like, how good is this Washington offensive line? Because it kind of got torn apart when, Kalen DeBoer left, guys getting drafted. I'm gonna be tuned in. I'm gonna be tuned in. I can't wait. I literally cannot wait, dude. The Apple Cup at a neutral site because it's not a conference game. That's crazy to me. That is crazy. So
Good. Yeah, it's on Peacock though. It's not even so I can you better at Peacock if you're gonna watch that game. So thanks to the Big Ten.
thank you, Big
Thanks,
Ten.
Big Ten.
Thank you, Big Ten. Thank you, Big Ten.